Hi everyone, welcome back to channel. Have you ever built an ASP.NET Core API, published your Swagger documentation, and thought your job was done because every endpoint returned 200 OK response? Here is a truth: if your Swagger documentation only shows 200 OK, then your API specification is incomplete. Okay, so when database connection drops or third party service fails or unhandled exception occur, your is your API will return 500 internal server error. If that 500 status code is not documented, or front end developers or mobile ops application teams or automated SDK generators won't know how to handle your API failure states. So in today's video, we are need to understand how to add those exception in our API. So in short, how we add produce response type or how we handle different API response at our API. So in this video, we will cover why documenting 500 status code is crucial for our API contracts, how it improves client SDK generation and RFC 7807 problem details, how to avoid repetitive code by applying this attribute globally or at the controller level. So let's get started. So first, we just so this is our Swagger. Okay, this is our API, this is our order controller. Okay, so in that we have uh, one this is our get API. So here we are just getting ID, and as per default API response just showing only 200. Okay, but this is not a correct way to handle the API response. So in this video we will learn how to handle the different API response properly. Okay, so I'm just back. So this is our API, like get order ID. So for demonstration purpose, I've just comment all those lines. Okay, and so here we need to add those produce response type on API, and then we will, so why we need to add, what is the importance of that, how it's implemented, what is the use of that, we will, all those things we will understand in this video. Okay, so before write a code, let's understand why we need to exactly add status 500 internal server error. Okay, so produce response type. First we will understand what is mean by produce response type. Okay, so in ASP.NET Core, attributes like produce response type serve as a metadata generator for OpenAPI and Swagger. So they do not change how your C sharp code execute at a runtime. So instead, they tell OpenAPI, here are a possible HTTP status, codes, and response model. This endpoint might return. Okay. So there are four key reasons why we need to include 500. So here we already added, we just uncomment those. So here there are four key reasons why we need to add 500 internal server error. So this is a status code usually. Okay, and if you see the definition of that. So this is a 500. Okay, so nothing else. So here we just add produce response type and their internal server error. Okay, so why we need to add, there are four reasons. So first is a accurate API contract. So here your Swagger documentation is a contract with consumer. So hiding error response makes your API look unpredictable when things go wrong in the production. So means if anything unhandled happens on the production, then your API is not handle those errors. For that reason, we need to add this. So this is the first reason. Second reason is like a automated SDK and a client generation purpose. So if your organization use something like Autores or Refit to generate TypeScript or C Sharp from your Swagger specification, then those generators are very important for this. Third thing is like a RFC 7807 compliance, like a modern API just format the errors in problem details standard. So documenting those 500 errors, it's very important to understand what is the exact issue. And fourth reason is like mocking and automated testing purpose. So for unit test purpose, this is also helpful. So this is a importance of handling 500 in our API contract. So this is our API. So we already write a one controller. So this is our uh, save it. Okay, so this is our order controller. Okay, um, we just simply add one method like a get order by ID. So this is specifically our get method, and we just take one parameter like ID. Okay, so just for example, now we are just get one ID parameter. Just imagine like if someone, means basically this API purpose is like when we are passing any ID, based on that ID we just get the order details. Okay, based on the ID. So basically we just understand why we need to add this. Okay, now I just uncomment all those. Okay, fine. So here now we understand all those things step by step. So just imagine like someone are just sending uh, ID as a zero, then this is invalid, right? So we need to return 400 bad request, correct? Suppose if ID is a triple nine, it just simulate internal database exception. So throwing an invalid operation exception, we need to provide invalid operation exception. Okay, for unhandled errors kind of thing. And if ID is a 42, then our successful, we need to just return HTTP 200 success response. And suppose any someone are just sending any random number which is not present in our database, then we need to return not found. So this is a four types of, means when we need to return 200 means success, 400 if any bad request, 404 it's for not found, and 500 it's a unhandled exception. So just check our catch exception as well. So inside the catch exception, we just got unhandled errors and just log the status code like a 500, because this is the unhandled errors, and we just document those uh, like a status, title, and details. So this is our problem details, and this problem details we just mention over here for the documentation purpose. So this is the best way to handle the errors using produce response type. So inside that we just maintain status code, means what is the status, like 500. Title is like internal server error, and what are the details, like unexpected error occurred while processing your request. So now I just run this, and okay, I just stop this. Now we just added our all produce response type. Now I'm just running this. Let's see. So at the time of uh, video, we just display the swagger with only 200, which is by default. Right now, if you see, a lot of changes in the swagger. See, now this is our order API, and if you see, initially it was 200. Okay, now if you see, 200 okay, 400 bad request, their data, 404 not found, 500 internal server error. Yeah, so we just manage all kind of exception. 200, 400 bad request, 404 not found, and 500 internal server error with details. Okay, so notice we have a swagger display lot of responses with properly, and client looking at this swagger specification would have no idea that this endpoint can return bad requests, internal server, or formatted details. Now let's test the endpoint using swagger UI passing 900. For example, I'm just passing something like a 999. Okay, so let's assume, see, this is a 500 status, and we just maintain like our standard error, like this is internal server error 500, unexpected error occurred. Means in short, if you are adding something unknown id which is not exist, then this is a catch error. Okay, now if you are, for example, if you are in 99, this is a 400 order not found. Okay, so in this way we just handle the errors. So if you see the documentation, like 404 proper errors, title, status, details, we are display. In 999 we just display internal server error or just 500. Okay, now look at the response, and now we already understand like how we add this. So I'm just back to, okay, so how we implement this. So this is your API method. Okay, before the API method, you just need to add this for produce response type. For produce response type is like a 200, 400, 404, and 500. Okay, so we need to annotate our actions method with explicit. Okay, and second for validation failures, third is for missing resources kind of thing, and finally is a unhandled exception. Okay, so let's break down this attribute. We just need to understand what is the exact um, what is the meaning of that, and type of detail. So in short, for example, type of problem details means what. So it just tells the open api like exact c sharp type structure written in http body during server crash. So here we just create a one uh, helper like problem details, and inside the problem details we just mention like details. Okay, if you see, So this is our problem details, and inside that we need to add our details, status, details, and instance. Okay, so in this way we need to maintain the type of problem details. Okay. Next thing is like a status code. We already discussed 500 means what, 400 means what. So using this constant instead of magic number like 500 makes your code cleaner and less error prone. So let's save this, and now uh, in Swagger, if you add this properly, then your Swagger documentation is very helpful and understandable for everyone. Means normally we just share the Swagger to others team. So if they are testing anything, or suppose tester or test something, and if they found this documentation, Swagger documentation, then they know like when this error are coming, okay, based on the input. So now any developer or client integrating with your API can look at Swagger and know exactly what status code to expect and what JSON body structure when an internal failure occurs. Okay. Now you just thinking like, do I have to copy and paste on every single controller action access or for entire solution? Best practice to avoid repeating yourself method class level like produce type, problem details, or 500 at the controller class. So if you see at the controller, so it's not needed to just maintain everywhere. So you just maintain at controller level as well. Sorry. If you add over here, then every method you not need to add this one. So this is a common for all controller method. So it's not repeating for every method. You can just maintain this at control level. Okay. Then you not need to add for each method. So whatever it's a common thing, then you can add at controller level, and a specific some kind of 200, 400, or 404 you can just maintain at a method level. So yes, I hope you understand what is the use of that. So in short, for Swagger documentation purpose, we need to use produce response type. Okay, and it's very important for handling the errors. Okay, so I hope you understand all these things. It ensures smooth SDK generation and better collaboration with front end and QA teams. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification. Drop comment below. Do you have any question or comment? Just let me know. I also create a one documentation for this uh, uh, topic, and just I'll share one blog link in the description. So I hope you understand. Thank you guys.